I love the way the First Gen Lounge makes me feel.
Because it creates a space where I belong. Where we're able to create community.
The fact that it's a community.
It's a safe place.
It also gives me a place to understand different perspectives.
The stories of these individuals prescribe transformational perspective.
I receive encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment.
And also serve as a catalyst to just keep going.
Where we're able to be our true selves.
I'm allowed to be an unapologetic first gen.
And above all else, tell our story.
And every episode is unique.
I love it.
I'm your host, Dr. Eve, and I'd like to welcome you to the First Gen Lounge. Hey, to you, and your whole crew. Different, I know. You love it. But hey, y'all, what's up? I am so glad that you are back here with your girl this week. And if you are new, what's up? Welcome. I hope that you will continue to come back into this space and just, kick it with us because we do round here. So, I ain't gonna keep you long. Okay, I do be keeping y'all long sometime, but okay, it happens. But anyway, I found myself in a situation recently where I was like, damn, this is my fault. Have you ever had one of those moments? I'm sure that you have, like, oh, I can't even believe I did that. I can't believe I got into this. I can't believe this is even like for real for me. The realization for me was a lot less about taking ownership and more about being one of those things that like, it just hit me like, damn, this is my fault. And so it was a point for me where I also found myself saying, that something has to change, right, Eve? Because like your girl talk to your girl, okay? That's what she gonna do. And that's what brings me here today to hit you with this, that you can't fix what you are not willing to face. Feeling like maybe you've heard it before, and if you haven't, then congratulations. You can't fix what you are not willing to face. When you realize that you want something different for your life, it requires that you do something different, right? There's just absolutely no way around it. And I feel like people go wrong when they think that they can just like wish and think themselves of something different, but that's just not gonna happen because action is absolutely required. Like you have to do something. You have to move forward in a way. Got to figure out what that way is, but you have to do something. But I also think that sometimes we make an excuse for not doing something because it's like, I don't know any other way. But what I believe at this point in my life is that not knowing another way isn't a good enough reason either, because you have to recognize, or when you do recognize actually that you don't know something, there's an opportunity for you to learn. And it's also not enough to suggest that you don't know where to start these days either, because I feel like we live in this digital age and we've got more than enough resources and more than enough access to things to be able to get answers to stuff like books, podcasts, blogs, people. Like there's not a question that you can't ask Google or YouTube and not gain insight, or at least get the party started in getting perspective and getting knowledge to figure out what your next decision should be, or to even think about things in a new way, right? Now, I do want to be clear though, that doing something different and taking different actions can absolutely require a different level of effort. I mean, because it just does. So as a matter of fact, when I was in the middle preparing for this particular show, I was actually talking to my BFF, literally working on the notes, talking to my BFF, and the conversation could not have been more timely. And they didn't even know what the hell I was working on, right? Didn't know at all. I said, take a break and I'll just get back to it. But I actually told them I was going to add this particular conversation to my notes to represent this show, because what I took from this, it was like not even a full conversation. It's like they said something, I was like, damn, that's good. So that's how it was, right? So just a part of the conversation, but I was like, it's too damn good not to share because this message is really, it hit me. So what was it? I'm about to tell you. They had ended up mentioning to me that they had all this stuff to move around in the house because they had a pretty major home repair, home improvement that they were doing. I knew that they had been moving stuff around the night before, and I was also aware that they had been moving stuff around early, that same morning to continue to get things out the way to prepare for this improvement that was about to take place. And one of the things they said was, you don't realize how much stuff you have until you try to move it around. And I'm like, that's really good. Because I was really lost in that thought of, because when I'm hearing people talk, I'm thinking about stuff and I'm thinking about stuff. So if you don't know by now, then now you know. But I found myself thinking like, dang, they've really been in this spot for a minute, and they have accumulated a lot of stuff over the years that may make moving things around challenging or uncomfortable, or this just takes so much. It's gonna be so much to do, so I'd rather not do it. But of course, bit by bit, you get this stuff. Like, think about even your cars or your workspaces, right? How much stuff do you have in the space that you've just put in there over time? One pen became one book, became one shelf, became one thing. And over time, it's just so much. So even as people, we through life continue to carry stuff over time, and we get comfortable with it, right? But back to like this home improvement, what I was thinking, that they got all this stuff in, and of course, until they had to move it around, that they realized how much they had, because as long as nothing changed, they didn't have to think about it. And that happens to us so much. As long as nothing has to change, we're not thinking about the stuff that we are piling onto, our internal selves, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. We just piling stuff on like, oh, okay, just going about my business. But wow, now something's got to change and I got to do something about this. So for my BFF in particular, they realized this home improvement was something that was necessary, because it was going to help make the house more comfortable, more exciting, more vibrant, give them a space that they wanted to be in. The thing is that when they recognized the need for this change, they made a decision to change it. So for us, in the decisions that we have to make to get to the next thing, it starts with the decision to say, I want to change this. I have to do said thing. And what was necessary for this thing to actually happen, for this home improvement to take place, was something that took time. So we think about changing things, and I'm gonna change it, I'm gonna do it now. But sometimes there's going to be several decisions that have to be made in order for the bigger thing to come to be. So don't just think one decision is going to fix a problem. There may be a series of decisions that's going to have to be the solution to whatever it is that you're trying to change or work on. So in particular, my BFF had to think about the change, who was going to be contracted, who was going to do this, who was going to do that, what color, what this, what that. There were a number of things that went into that. So when you think about, again, making decisions to change your own life, there may be several things for you to consider. So that's why you also got to be patient as you are working through whatever that thing is that you're trying to change. And again, giving yourself grace. And if you think about stuff like even now, trying to change finances, trying to change your physical improvement, trying to work on mental health, there are layers and things you have accumulated over the years that have gotten you to where you are now. So give yourself that space to navigate wherever you are right now, understanding this improvement of this change is one that didn't just happen overnight either, right? But back to the BFF story, because we're still in the BFF story, but let's just go with it. But anyway, so BFF moved stuff around, and they were like, again, it's taking way more time than what I thought it was going to take, and I'm like, They knew what was ahead of them for this home improvement, though. It took way more time. They knew it was ahead of them, but they couldn't have calculated for the fact that it was going to take so much time. But rather than get frustrated about the time it was taking to move the stuff around, they were focused on the improvement itself and just handling their business or do what needed to be to get done. So again, the same thing for you. Maybe you will think a year or 2 years for something to change, or maybe you think you're going to do it and it's going to be, 2 weeks and it's done. But don't focus so much on the time that it takes to change, and focus on the improvement itself, and find those ways to mark for, or, to gauge that I am making progress. Because if one room in the house is cleared and another room in the house is cleared, that's 2 rooms that have been cleared. And the night before, you only had a desk, right? So metaphorically, you can apply that to many things in your life, I'm pretty sure. But then one of the things that dropped in my spirit, and I really appreciate it, and again, it was such a simple part of the conversation, just something like a few sentences. And I was like, damn, that is just so good. But clearly, y'all get what you're getting from me today. But realizing that they had a vision for what they wanted and they were willing to put in the work to make it happen. What is your vision for your life? What is your vision for what you want? And what are you willing to do to make that thing happen? And they had to be fully committed, time, energy, and resources there was a number of things. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going to make a decision. Okay, maybe it'll happen. It's like, no. And then this needs to be done. And then that needs to be done. And then this needs to be done. And yes, I'm going to have to put some money in here. Because what if the change that you need for yourself is going to require you to buy something or do something? Like, change may be change, but change ain't free. It change, but either way, free of time, free of energy, it's an investment in yourself and your future and your life. So if you can look at the decisions that need to be made, think of these things too as investments, because we've talked about, investments before, right? So that was actually pretty damn good. I was proud of myself for that one. So like really, that just hit and I was like, go with it. But anyway, all of this to say, only you are responsible for your life and what needs to change. And I want you to know, hear me now, hear me real good, that you are not powerless. Because it can be so easy to feel powerless to these changes, to feel defeated because there's so many things that need to change in so many ways things need to change. But baby, you got this. Like you got this, boo. You got this. I want you to know that for sure. And rather than seeing the responsibility of what becomes of your life as a burden, as something to be afraid of, I want you to realize how powerful it actually makes you, because you and only you are making all of the decisions for you. Like you, nobody else, you, right? And that's a good thing, because you can say, I did this, I made this decision, I built this life, I built these happy feelings, I have built, this banging ass body, whatever it is that you are after, you and only you are the one who gets to make those decisions. Nobody else makes those things for you. So really sit with that and really embrace that, because your power is there. Like you are not powerless to making changes in your life, because it's about you, when you're doing these things. And at the end of the day, what I really want you to walk away from our time together today with is your life is your home. You are living in your everyday. So please, my love, please make the necessary improvements. On that note, that is all I got for you now. I hope that this really resonated with you, that you will come back to this when you need it and just really be encouraged in this journey that we call life. Know that I love you. Know that I'm proud of you. And most importantly, what we gonna do? Keep pressing forward. That's right. All right. Until the next time, I'm out. Peace.